You kept your money in the bank, trusting the bank they are going to protect your money and will return that money when you need it. Imagine when bank break that trust and someday just tell you that all your money has been evaporated, lost. What's going to be your reaction? Probably a panic. That's what usually happens in banks nowadays. Let's talk about banks today. What banks usually do, what they're meant to do, and what they are doing currently. Banks, specifically, institution that is supposed to keep our money safe and return it when we ask them to do so. What do banks do with our money? They invest our money. They take our money, they give loans to others without our permission, of course. They give loans to others, they invest money in speculative trades, they purchase bonds, they do all kind of things. These banks. And it has created literally a cycle where, like I said in my previous video, where societies have literally become enslaved to these banks. People are so much dependent on these banks and institutions that it has literally become a reality where people are buying groceries on a credit card. Groceries on a credit card, food on a credit card. Imagine, I'm talking about the American banks right now. Most of the American people kept their money in the banks, of course. Now, when the genocide started happening in Gaza, the American people were protesting against the government, against these fundings to stop this because they did not like this genocide. And the American people were protesting against this criminal act that was happening. On the flip side, what were the banks doing? Israel issued bonds on the international market, and these banks lended money. Whose money? The American people's money to these banks bought those bonds while knowing that the money which will be given to the Israeli government will be used to commit genocide, which the very people whose money is used to purchase those bonds are protesting against. The money which banks have is the money of the American people. American people are protesting against the Israeli crimes and genocide. The banks which have the money of the Americans are giving that money to Israel to commit genocide. You see what's happening over here? Allah says in the Quran, render the trust to people to whom it is due. When American people deposited their money in these banks, they trusted these banks with their money, not the bank's money, their money. And banks were supposed to protect that money, Rather, what did banks started doing, or what did banks usually do and have been doing for, I don't know, more than a century now, is do exactly the opposite of what the people trusted them to do or what the people want them to do. And why a normal person cannot go after these banks? Because these are mega banks who literally control the governments. You go and touch them, you'll have a broad member of attorney, what do you call them, lawyers, will file a suit against you. These banks have made sure that no one can touch them with your money. Your money. These banks take your money, they keep your money, they do business with your money, and when the time come to give back, they are nowhere to be found. These banks are the very reason of all the corruption in the world today. These banks are the root cause of the corruption today. From a person who doesn't have enough money to buy groceries to a criminal government committing genocide. Who do you think is the main party over here? The banks are. The banks make sure that people are enslaved to them. They keep their money in the bank. They are in debt. They keep paying interest, and banks keep making money. Recall what happened in the housing, or don't recall that. It's been to so many years now of 2008. Let's saw what right now, 2025, 2026, 2027. There's a housing crisis in America. People can't afford homes. Why? Because these banks keep lending money to anyone who comes on mortgages. What has that done to the housing market? Because anyone can buy a home on interest, on a loan, the prices have skyrocketed. The property which was worth 100,000 is now worth almost 300 or $350,000. Why? Because the developers know the people will buy the home on loans. What has that done to society? There is a housing crisis. The prices of the homes are so high that people are not able to buy homes, afford homes. For those who can't qualify for a loan. And for those who do qualify for a loan but are not able to be consistent with their repayments to the banks on the mortgages they took, what does the banks do? They foreclose the home. I was reading a report today only of this systematic foreclosure fraud by banks on the New York City, where there are almost 14 law firms using a judgment calculation method to calculate the interest, and there is a systematic fraud which is being done to people who have bought the homes on mortgages but are not able to pay back the repayments on time. They bought the home for years. People paid the banks with interest. And when time came that they were having some trouble making money, the bank took the home. Now these people are left homeless. Now, when these people go, of course, they cannot buy a new home because I think their some civil score might be downgraded or something done to them. So now they have to rent a home. Now, because for the people who are able to qualify for the loans, they have bought their homes on mortgages with so much high rate of interest, then of course they are going to make profit when they are when they put the property on rent. So you see $5,000 rent for a single bedroom apartment in New York City. This person who bought the home for years paid the banks with interest. All of that money is gone, all of that interest is gone, the home is gone, they're left homeless, they are given some few chunks of money, they are underpaid when the home gets auctioned, and now they have to live on a rent where the prices have already skyrocketed. Yes, of course, because if the property prices are skyrocketing, then the rents will also skyrocket. Now this person, imagine this person, people's one of the biggest investment people have is their homes. The person who lost their home, now they have to rent on $5,000, $6,000 home, not even home, a room or two rooms. See, I'm not able to give you specifics of the rents, but what I am trying to convey is the prices have skyrocketed for people. So now this very person has to pay a big chunk of their income on the rent. Now, whatever is left, if there is much left, that goes into food, clothes, medicines, essentials, of course. Now, if that person has a child, has children, if they have, because if this person doesn't has a family, because a financial situation like this doesn't allow a person to get married, to start a family at the first place. But imagine if this person had a family when he got married, he has children now. Most of his income is going away. How is he supposed to pay for the tuition fees for his children? What are his children going to do? Are they going to rob? Is the government going to provide their tuition fee? Who is going to do that? So this person has to take another loan, which is called a student loan. These young children, innocent children who haven't done anything wrong in the society, have been enslaved to these banks because of their greed, without them even stepping in the real world right now. They're already in debt by these student loans. Now the student goes to college, he finishes his college. If he is able to get a good job, if where is most of his money going? Of course, he has all the student. the child, gets to another place, he buys a home, not even buys, rents a home, the price of which has skyrocketed. Most of the money is going into the rent. The leftover is going to the student loan, and the leftover is for food and essential if there are any leftover. If there are no leftovers, then this person has to go for a credit card and buy the groceries in going into debt. If you don't call this, if you don't see this as a crisis, as a catastrophe, then there is there's something wrong with your mind, my friend. And this is not a condition or a case of one family. Look around. You'll see millions of family with the same situation. I was stunned when I came to know that New York City is one of the most in debt region in the entire United States. New York City, the financial capital of the world, its people are the most in debt. Why? Because of the greeds of these banks. And when these banks are not able to earn enough profit by enslaving generations, then what do they start doing? They start funding genocide. A criminal government release a bond in the international market. These banks go and give the buy those bonds on high interest rate. Think because they are going to get high interest rate money on the money, your money, not the bank's money, your money. And in return, what does that criminal government gets? Money to do what? Commit genocide. And that's what Israel is doing in Gaza. And these banks keep buying the bonds, keep funding the criminal government. That government keeps committing the genocide. World War One was prolonged because the governments kept getting loans from these banks. World War Two was prolonged because these banks kept lending money to these governments to do what? Kill people? Just for the greed. They are ready to do whatever they want. They want to earn money at any cost. If that cost my life, that's okay. If that cost my family's life, my children's life, that's okay. These people are terrorists. It's okay. Collateral damage, of course. Oh, collateral damage is for the uh, other people. For me, as a Muslim, I am a terrorist. Oh, that guy was a terrorist, so we killed him. That's all right. It's for a greater good we are doing. And when they start killing their own people, then that's a collateral damage for a greater good. What kind of a greater good? I don't know. Maybe it's just that greater good is the greed these people and these banks and these institutions have. That is the greater good. Their greed, their profit. That is the greater good. Is that not happening to American people? Is that not happening on the global financial market? Is that not happening in Gaza? It definitely is. You trusted these banks and these institutions with your money, your savings, and they in return gave you not safety, slavery. And when you started protesting because you have morality inside you, they started using forces against you by using your money and funding the criminal government which you have been protesting against to commit genocide. The banks, the investment firms, the law. That's what Allah says in the Quran. Render the trust of the people to whom it is due. If people have entrusted you with their money, then then give them their trust back. Don't use other people's money against their will. Don't cheat people. Don't betray people. That's what Allah commands in the Quran. Trust. Be trustworthy. Don't be a betrayer.